Hi there. Welcome to a Carlton Witch ramble, of course, about Charlie Curnow, who I've been trying to figure out his time of birth. Because with a time of birth and his birth chart, we can know a little bit about what the fuck's been going on. So the chart that we're looking at here, I have guessed his birthday based on the kind of the energetic fuckery and these certain points in his life, right? So one of the things that I started with trying to find was when he signed with Carlton, right? Huge career thing, huge moment in the career. So when I looked at 2016, I did find that the same eclipses that we are dealing with now were just finishing, right? So we've put his 10th house in Pisces because the eclipses that were in 2016 when he signed with Carlton affecting his career are also the eclipses that were around this year when he has had this career shift moment. And as well as that, in July, he was dealing with a bit of fucking chaos when it comes to his house of outward expression, his house of reputation. And that was all happening in Gemini. So this is the chart that I'm going to use until somebody gets me Charlie Curnow's birthday. So a number of things in here are being affected. And next year, for the next 2 years, they will be even more affected. So one of the other things that is particularly of interest to note here is Charlie's 6th house in Scorpio. This is the house of your physical body. This is the house that is your relationship to your physical body. And it is the sort of house that when it gets triggered, you can become injured, you can become unwell, right? Now, the other part of that is that the other Scorpio energy is up here, right? And now this is a childhood wound placement. It speaks of trauma. It affects his first house, the way we see him, and it affects his ability to have fun. Now, this particular map is when the chaos was in his outward reputation. Okay, when we shifted into chaotic moments in this outward reputation. Now, when we find Scorpio in this chart, okay, we're here. We're over here, right? Now, this is Charlie's childhood wound right there, okay? This is the energy that was going on, right? Going on at the beginning of July when the fuckery came into his outward reputation. This is emotions. This is the rejected self. Why is that interesting? This is guilt and shame. This is mother wound territory, right? This is emotional shit. Being this close to his childhood wound, that gets activated, doesn't it? The childhood wound gets activated. We come back over here. Charlie's childhood wound affects his ability to have a good time and also affects how he shows up in the world, which has been activated. We want to know what was squaring or opposing the Chiron situation, don't we? Pluto, the king of the fucking underworld, was making a square to his childhood wound. Now, a square is a war aspect. So this is a really a huge moment of friction, a huge moment of fuckery, if you will, on the childhood wound, which directly impacts his physical body and how we are seeing him. So this is July 6th, 2025. What happened to Charlie in July? He got himself injured, didn't he? Got himself fucking injured. He had a knee injury. So we're going off this time of birth because the injury lines up with the astrology. The career house being activated. The first house, the way that we see him being quite chaotic, is active right now. So based on that, what do we know? The eclipses that we are currently experiencing are activating his 10th house, right? Now, the 10th house is the house of career and legacy. So when we have these eclipses, they are designed to put you back on fucking track to where you are supposed to be going. He has All of this Aquarius energy over here, okay? And Aquarius rules his ninth house. This is being super fucking authentic and really needing to learn who you are and be able to show your individual nature, right? Now, these particular placements are very interesting because Venus in Aquarius as well, this is transformation, isn't it? So relationships transform him for better or worse. He expands, right? When he is really understanding who the fuck he is authentically. And same down here, when he's having a good time, right? When he's being himself, it's transformational for him. So when we look at where some of the energy is that relates to Carlton, right? Carlton are a Taurus energy team. Taurus for him is in the 12th house. The 12th house in your birth chart is the subconscious space and the things that you kind of struggle with, the things that you can't really see about yourself. And in synastry, which is where you compare your chart to somebody else's, the 12th house relationship wise is like it's either someone who will help you or someone who will hinder you, right? Your friend or your enemy. Okay. Very interesting. So then we can look at what else is going on in the universe. Well, right now we have got Jupiter in Cancer. So Jupiter in Cancer for Charlie is over here, right? Second house of worth, financial worth and self-worth. Okay. So that's being activated by this planet of expansion. The North Node, which is where we're heading to, that is in Pisces right now, meaning that the South Node, the comfort zone, is where we're moving from, and that is in Virgo. The South Node is a very karmic placement, right? It brings up things from the past. So that's the fourth house, Charlie's house of family, of mother. Okay. Now that's in Virgo, which tells me that growing up, the mother and the family space that he was in was a little bit critical, probably had a lot of fucking rules. Okay. Now we can double down on that and we can see this Saturn in Aries and this moon in Sagittarius. This is how you experience your father, Saturn, how you experience your mother, the moon. So we can see here that the way that Charlie experienced his father affects his ability to speak and to get to the perfect career, right? Now, Lilith in Leo means that you're somebody who really struggles with being seen, right? Being seen, being in the limelight, something toward your creative expression is injured, right? Is rejected. It's the rejected us. And again, this is the third house. So it's got to do with speaking and being seen and communication, right? Okay. Now, I think that what's going on with Charlie is that he has had this point of fortune triggered, is one of the things that's going on with Charlie. Now, from 2023 until 2025, Charlie was having his groups of people and his inner belief system, right, and his father wound triggered. And he was being asked to really evaluate his friendships, right, to really evaluate them. And are you having a good time? So I believe what's happened here is that during 2023, 2024, up until September 2024, okay, Charlie was figuring out whether or not the groups of people, the club that he was around, allows him to have a good time. Okay. And he was being real fucking strict about it, right? I think we can see that he maybe wasn't having a good time. Now, okay, injuries and whatever secretive nonsense was going on with Carlton this year has played out. So we can see that his career getting triggered here. So then we move to July, and in July, we had Uranus move to Gemini. Now, Uranus moving to Gemini does this: first house, activation. First house, your outward reputation, your first reputation, how people see you, how you want people to see you, right? The window that people see you through and the window that you project yourself through. Gemini first house people, Gemini rising, okay? One of the things that happens when this gets activated is you sort of are trying to play the other card, right? So if you're someone who's always shown up as the good boy, then you might want to show up as the bad boy, right? So At the same time as this, that Uranus, which brings the chaos, right? Chaotic. That's how we're seeing him. That's how we've been seeing him. Now, that happened in July. It does take a couple of months to roll into that energy. So, as we move from like May, June, July, we get more and more chaos. Then he gets injured, right? Gets injured because something about the way that he is presenting himself, it's not really right. He's got to be changing shit up, right? So, he gets injured. Now, he gets injured because this gets activated, the childhood wound. That affects his sixth house, and he's being forced into transformation because then we get the eclipses in his fourth and 10th house, where he's trying to move towards his most aligned career. So he has really been like just in struggle town a little bit with his inner mentality rushing around and trying to find his authentic energy. Now, at the same time as that, he has had Pluto, right, in that ninth house. So he's been going backwards, trying to discover things about himself. He's been looking at things from a different perspective. We can also see here that Charlie is someone whose emotions, non-negotiable emotional needs and desires is in Sagittarius. And this is related to his relationships, right? Pluto is in Sagittarius, and Pluto in Sagittarius is quite literally the sign that is here to fuck shit up. You are the generation that's here to fuck shit up, right? Break the rules, do things differently. Aquarius right now, also break the rules, do things differently. Gemini right now, chaos, right? We've got a number of things going on here for Charlie that mean that he is in a massive transformative moment. He's being asked to review his inner belief system and his discipline energy. At the same time as that, he's got the planet of chaos in a battle with his seventh house of relationships. So he's moving forward. He's doing, and so over here, Venus in Aquarius, 0 degrees, your relationships are transformative. Your relationships are very individual to you. Now, something else worth noting here is that Charlie has a Mars in Libra, right? And a Mercury in Capricorn. And so the way that we've seen him show up, right? Mars in Libra is the type of masculine energy, the type of aggression that does not want to start shit, right? It doesn't want to have a fight. It'll finish it if you come at them, right? This is the sort of person that might stand in the corner and just like poke the bear a little bit here and there, okay? But with his Mercury in Capricorn, okay, he's more likely to just speak a blunt fucking sentence, right? This is somebody he's not messing around with fluff words. He's not messing around with making people feel good. He's got no interest in having a fight with anyone with words, okay? Especially because his house of communication down here in Leo is affected by this rejected him, right? So having his voice heard is challenging. And I think we've seen he had his voice heard a couple of times this year. A couple of those times it wasn't received very well. A couple of times it was. I think that's one of the situations that has been going on inside of Carlton, that he has felt like his voice has not been heard. And that affects a lot of his chart. That affects his confidence. That affects so much of who he is as a person. And so he's unlikely to be someone who, aggressively pokes the bear, right? But this is why he's happy to sit back and let everyone talk for him. This right here, this Mars in Libra. He's happy to sit back and let everyone talk for him, because for him, right, the proof is in the fucking pudding, right? So you say whatever you fucking want about me, but you'll see the truth when you get to see the truth, okay? And he changes his life very authentically, right? Like this is someone who changes their life in a way that you couldn't possibly guess, okay? They build relationships in the same kind of energy. They expand in the same kind of energy. Now, the energy of power right now is in Aquarius energy. So his ego self, his relationship building, his worth, his luck, his expansion energy, and how he changes his life are the energies of power right now. And being that this is a ninth house activation as well, it's likely that this is affecting a lot of internal belief systems for him. And so right now, there is chaos in the first house, especially to do with his career, right? You have been, like, people are seeing your career reputation in a really chaotic way. And you have this expansion energy of your worth, right? And we're negotiating contracts, and how people are seeing you is starting to shift, okay? And at the same time, we're really facing up to, some karmic energy, some like past memories, right? A lot of things from the past, because the South Node is in your house of family. So we've got the sun here in Libra, and we can see since the sun entered Libra in the last few weeks, we've seen more of Charlie out and having a good time, okay? Because the fifth house is a house of pleasure. Now, we have also seen that we've got a number of energies in his sixth house, meaning that this relationship with his body is becoming better, with his mental health becoming better, right? Less secretive. And, he feels distrust in his body through this. And that's why when the childhood wound got activated, which happened in July when he injured himself. That's why he injured himself, because we get this energy, this overdoing. When you have a water placement in the sixth house, an overdoing of emotional energy, like enough repressed emotion, will affect your health in one way or another, right? So he's got, this energy of like, be your raw primal self, like accept the rejected parts in this energy here of his physical life, of his body, of his habits, right? Mercury as well. So how he thinks, our mind as well, that's also in here as well. So there is clarity around how he uses his body, how he wants to use his body. There's clarity in that space. Also giving him clarity of the childhood wound, and how the way, not allowing himself to have fun, not feeling like he's having a lot of fun around teams and groups of people, and not allowed to be himself, how that affects his outward reputation, right? And how he wants people to see him. So he's also facing here, he's got in the 11th house, he's dealing with the childhood wound, right? So your wound of identity. So your wound of identity in relation to groups of people and teams and clubs and the future. And dealing with like past traumatic situations in relation to like following somebody else's rules and like letting that transform you and like being part of things that aren't aligned with you, right? He's facing that. So he's really been asking himself, are these my people? Do they allow me to be who I want to be, right? Am I allowed, and do I feel comfortable to speak up? Okay. And this is hidden from him, the transformation that can come from locking in and doing the hard work. Okay, that's hidden from him. And Taurus energy is the Carlton energy. So that makes it really tricky for him. Okay. Now, anywhere there's Aquarius, you get kind of a rebellion, right? So he's very rebellious in relationship, in expansion, in how he changes his life. His ego is also very rebellious. And these things all have a huge point of transformation for him. And all of these eights, okay, they also are related to Scorpio energy. So all of these eights will transform him for the good or the better, good or the worse, right? So for good or for bad. And so they are direct, they also affect the way that he feels about his body. So when he's not allowed to be himself, that can actually, in a number of different ways, trigger injury. Okay. So what can we expect? I will check in with the cards, but what can we expect, right? Well, I think we can expect that the energy that is about to come in is going to be very Scorpio related. So for Charlie, it's got a lot to do. Well, I'm laughing because I just remember reading that he has been having physicals, right, at different clubs, right? So his body, his physical body, which is currently being super activated by the energy of the universe right now. Let's have a look. Let's have a look at Monday. What's the date on Monday? 13. And so you can see here, trade period is ending, and we have this. Now, the 14th is also a very fucking crazy day, right? For Scorpio energy as well. So something to note, right, is second house in Cancer, self-worth, financial worth. The 13th, house of worth, and house of his physical body and his life, right? This is clarity. This is communication. This is also all at 9 degrees. And if we look over here, ninth house, that's his Aquarius energy. Okay. So this energy on the 13th, this for him, this is clarity about his worth. Okay. And this is truth about his worth as well. So this is a couple of things, right? This is having to kind of move forward with your secrets out on the table, which really for him reads as like somebody either accepting or not accepting his injuries and and where his physical body is. Also, this energy here for him, 1146, this is him having to come to terms with his worth, right? And how much effort he can actually put in and having to like understand what that means. And then on the 14th, now the 14th is a Libra new moon and Charlie's masculine energy is in Libra. So he's having this renewal, okay, of his masculine energy with that Libra new moon. And then the 14th has a lot of fucked energy, okay, just collectively for everybody. But when we look at this in relation to Charlie, like the first day where he's either definitely at Carlton or he is definitely somewhere else, and you see this, very fucking interesting for his chart. Let's put that into the fucking astrology. Because this is his worth, this is his, sixth house, this is his childhood wound, okay? But this is making a positive aspect. So this is accepting. This is the acceptance. This is his masculine energy having to accept what he's actually worth. This is him coming to terms with his worth and not being ashamed about it. And this is very fucking lucky for him. This is starting over, right? Now, interestingly, Libra is his masculine energy and Aries is his groups of people, right? Now, Neptune first moved into Aries, I think it was like the 30th of March. So this is like a renewal of his relationship energy and letting go of past traumas, right? And moving somewhere into a new space, right? Then that is where his childhood wound kind of has to roll over and say, okay, like, okay, go forward, like, let's do this. And then this is his worth and his career aligning, right? And now this is him building something new, trying to not reject himself. This is like the renewal of a relationship for him and feeling like he is able to speak his mind with people. And this is where his confidence and his first house, like how we see him, the window we see him through, they make a really positive aspect and have a renewal as well. So again, this energy just tells me that he's leaving. This energy just tells me that he's leaving. So this is what is happening energetically to his chart on the 14th, okay? We can see here that like planet of change, right? So this is his first house energy right now, right? Where there is a lot of chaos with how we're seeing him. And that is actually making a positive aspect here. Like all of these are positive. So this is making a positive aspect of renewal of, the sorts of people he wants to be around. This is locking in his new rule structure of who he wants to be. What sort of a man do you want to be? The discipline energy. This is luck, right? And expansion. And this is relationships, right? So there is a positive energy for him in all of those spaces. So here we see, and again, I'm telling you, this means that he's leaving. Here we see Mars and he's a Mars in Libra, right? So Mars is squaring his sun. So Mars is in Scorpio right now and it's uncovering secrets, okay? And it is going to make a square, so a battle aspect with his ego. And because his Mars sits in Libra, which doesn't want to start a fight, this is kind of him really having a hard time dealing with people finding out what club he's gone to. Okay? Okay, I'm going to remind you right here that I have had many hopefully just nightmares, but I have seen Charlie many times in the Collingwood stripes. So brace yourself. But see, all of these aspects are positive, right? Positive. The only bad ones is this one, masculine energy and his ego, and this one a little bit. So moon, emotions, communication. Okay, so where's the moon going to be? Where's the moon gonna? Oh, it's gonna be in Cancer, in his work. The moon's gonna be in Cancer. So his self-worth and the way that he feels emotionally about himself is going to be triggered, and it's going to be having a battle with how he communicates, which he doesn't like to communicate in a very emotional way, and he doesn't like to be seen, and he's going to have to. And he's going to have to. What else have we got? Pluto in Aquarius retrograding, asking us to find things about ourselves, find out who we are, find the secrets, find the parts of us that we hid away. That's also having a battle with his childhood wound, right? So his past in a tug of war with his future, his expansion and growth and luck in a tug of war with his like trigger of like a crossroads, right? His relationships with people in a tug of war with his past, right? Which is somewhat related to his past relationships. Relationships in a tug of war with his career. His emotions at a tug of war with his crossroads. The future, having a fight with his emotions, right? Because his emotions are very much related to not wanting people to feel like he caused them negative emotions. Okay. So his South Node also squaring the moon. His Lilith squaring his Lilith. So Lilith is in Scorpio right now, and it's making a square with his Lilith, which is in Leo, and it's about being seen. So right now, Lilith in Scorpio is actually asking us to be seen, to have people see our truth. And that's why it's having a battle with him who doesn't really want to be seen. Now, the childhood wound space right now, which is Chiron in Aries, is also having a fight. That's the wound of identity, having a fight with his crossroad decision that he has to make. His lucky energy, right? The universal point of fortune, sorry, is having a battle with his emotions, right? Like which way are you going to fucking go? And where is point of fortune? Aries, of course. Putting yourself first, right? Has to put himself first in order to deal with his emotions. Needs to think of his emotions from just him. Also, the crossroads that the universe is presenting is a little battle with how he evolves and makes change, while like this ascendant opposition, right? So the energy of how people see you in a tug of war with the energy of how people see him specifically. So let's get the fucking cards out. Let's get the cards out and let's see what they've got to say. Because that was the science of the astrology. All right, let's do a little card reading for Mr. Charlie Curnow. Now let's remember, I'm not actually sitting there with him. And, you know, just for the sake of the internet, this is for entertainment value only. Okay. All right, Charlie. What's your energy right now? He doesn't trust anybody. And this is Leo energy in reverse, right? He's not feeling very confident. He doesn't want people to see him. Doesn't know whether or not he's fighting out of his own corner because he doesn't fucking trust anybody. About to get some kind of notification and see behind a curtain. And see behind a curtain here. This, I want to point out, is Pisces energy, okay, which is his 10th house. So this to me is right now he doesn't trust anybody. He doesn't know what's going on. He doesn't know what the best way to be seen and talk and like how he displays himself. But this is him quite literally getting like a letter, seeing behind the curtain, changing his career. Okay. What else can you tell me? Oh, why doesn't he trust anybody? Why doesn't he trust anybody? Stuckness here, not feeling like he's in control of his own life, right? And I got the Fool on the cross to that 3 of Wands. So really feeling like it's up to him to kind of force a beginning here, but like almost feeling like he's been made to feel like a fool when he's tried to speak up for himself, when he's tried to change his life. Can I get some clarification on the 8 of Pentacles, please, on why he's not trusting people? Okay, so this is something he's been thinking about for 10 to 12 months, okay? He's had, well, look, he's had a lot of apprehension, right? Like there's been a lot of apprehension for like 10 to 12 months here. But there was one particular moment, okay? One particular moment here that has changed something. So there's been apprehension for 10 to 12 months, right? Now, there was one particular moment that turned like this feeling of like happiness and goodness into this feeling of, again, like this story starts on the first card, apprehension, the last card, apprehension, and on the bottom here is love. Surety of love. Interesting. Okay, so why the Seven of Wands in reverse? Why don't we know how to fight out of our own corner? Oh, he does. He's being cautious. He's being very cautious. Why are you being cautious? He doesn't want to get into a fucking fight. Disagreements, fighting. Right? So he's avoiding something here. Like he doesn't want to get into a fight here with someone. He doesn't want something to be found out until it's like disagreement of feelings, opinions, judgments, express disapproval. So he's right. I see. So he's acting with caution because he's worried that like what he says, like if he expresses his disapproval, this fucking tower falls, right? But Charlie, babe, the tower's falling anyway, mate. And you kind of know that that's really what you wanted to do. Fuck off. Who even needs cards? Okay. This is keeping something private, right? This is deceit. What does that look like to you? A deal. A deal. A deal, a deal, a deal. Interesting. Fucking deal. Tell me about the deal. What's the energy of the deal? Didn't do it alone. I don't trust this fucking deal. And just like the first time I pulled cards for you, Charlie, there's some kind of corruption going on. There is some kind of ulterior motive here. Somebody, I don't like it. Greed. I don't fucking like this at all. This has got a lot to do with somebody being fucking greedy, right? Now, this is corruption with a project, okay? This is finding out, right? Blowing your fucking trumpet, being put to judgment because of greed. Now, this is the moon revealing something, okay? This is the moon revealing something, which the 14th, the energy that we talked about, Libra new moon, sorry, masculine energy renewal, okay? And what is that going to show us? Trouble with loyalty, moving forward from boredom. Anything else? This is being stuck because you want to, so this is like needing to like come unstuck and find joy again. This is somebody telling him, right? A woman. This is the same kind of energy that I get when I feel his partner come through. But this is like his partner telling him, like, stop fucking waiting, right? Stop persevering with something that's making you unhappy and unjust, right? Speak your fucking mind. Speak your mind. Okay, so this is like news, and this is blame and cruelty. Let's go further into that. Because I tell you what, I have been getting this feeling this whole time with the Charlie situation that we are not seeing something, right? And that, like everyone who's been talking shit about him, it's because we don't get to know what actually happened. And this is telling me blame and cruelty. Tell me about the blame and cruelty, please, for Charlie. Emperor in reverse and impatience here. Shit. That's the fucking judgment card, and that's justice in reverse, same card I got out of this other deck. This is a boss man being impatient with how long it's taking him, I believe, to be able to be back at his best, right? And this has been like judged by, you know, King of Pentacles, somebody very business-minded person, and this is like the Empress, so somebody who knows their fucking worth, right? So like, I feel like this is, you know, more than just him thinking this. This is like the people that are in his corner, right? But this is the fuckery that we're not going to get to find out about, but maybe we do. So some kind of blame and cruelty, right? So somebody being impatient and treating him like shit because he wasn't getting back fast enough, because he wasn't as good as he was needing to be fast enough. I'm going to get some clarity on that. Anything else with this deck, please? Anything else? The Tower on the Two of fucking Pentacles. The Tower, right? Life fucking change, right? A lesson's been learned here. This is fucking Carlton's fault. This is Carlton's fault. We are losing Charlie because of Carlton, because of the way that they've been, right? Because this is about like, this is like transformation because of all of the ups and downs, right? Because of all of the ups and downs. And like, I learned the fucking lesson and I'm not putting up with it anymore. Like, I learned the lesson and like, it's been fucking hard. It's been fucking hard, right? Let's get some clarity. Let's get these babies back out. This is insanely interesting. Tell me about the Emperor in reverse, please. Yup. There's someone flipping there. What else about the Emperor? Oh, this Emperor in reverse threatened him. This Emperor in reverse threatened him. Threatened him. Like, you need to have the, like, threatened him with like I will put distance. There will be distance. Like, this feels like threatened. If you don't hurry up and come back, something's happening. Like, this is disorder on the bottom. That's a threat. That's a threat. I'll put you in the fucking distance. I'll change your fucking life, right? I'll knock the tower down. Tell me about a judgment card, please. This is fucking manipulation. The reason that the judgment happened, manipulation here, right? And again, some kind of deal, coming to some kind of accord, right? Like, I don't like it. I don't like it because that's deception underneath it. Some kind of deceptive accord. Tell me about the King of Pentacles here, please. Like, turbulence that he couldn't do anything about, right? I feel like, okay, so this is somebody stable in his life, potentially his manager, but also maybe him, right? So like, this is him making a fucking decision here. Like, I can't fucking do shit about this. Like, there's turbulence happening and I really can't do anything about it. So why can't you do anything about it? The cards that flew just higher than that are like sickness, illness, injury. And suspicion. So like, I can't do anything about it, but I'm suspicious about what, like, they were suspicious about his injury. Literally questioning whether or not it was real. Right. Tell me about the Empress here. Know your fucking worth, right? Know your fucking worth is what the Empress says. Money. Know your fucking worth. And this is people that feel like family. Know your worth contractually, right? Know your worth contractually here. And also like take into account financial legacy. What do you want to be able to leave behind? This is fucking dodgy. Tell me about the Tower. Greed and prosperity. Really having to figure out the difference between like money and having too much money and like feeling good about yourself, right? Feeling like you want success. Like in the difference between greed and success. Okay. So which one did Charlie want? Greed or success? He want to be left alone for starters. The solitude card falling out over there. Leave me alone. I'm going to have to do something bold. I'm going to have to do something daring. Like I'm going to have to take this into my own hands here. And will we find out? Will we find out any of these stories? Not for a long time. Right. Well, let's talk about what we want to know. Geelong, Gold Coast, Sydney, right? Geelong, Gold Coast, Sydney. Geelong, a Cancer energy team. That's his second house of worth. Sydney, an Aries energy team. And that is his 11th house. Gold Coast and Aries energy team as well. Okay. So, Geelong. It's like that's where he's from. That was the beginning. Okay. Is that where he's returning to? The outcome is stuck with Geelong. The outcome is stuck with Geelong. That is where he wants to go, but the outcome is stuck. Okay. Sydney? What's the energy of Charlie going to Sydney? I mean, the energy's still like, it's kind of, it's within his worth, but there's boredom related to it, right? And it's like not quite the right balance. Is he a Geelong boy? Okay, Gold Coast. Gold Coast seems to have like a lot of rules to it. Like a lot of rules to it. There's a lot of worry and concern about the Gold Coast here. And it definitely has to do with like going to excess or like being greedy. Okay. Does that mean he's going there or not? Oh, false friendship. Wastefulness, boredom. The only one that a positive energy is coming out here, it's for Geelong. The other two don't seem quite right. Sydney probably over Gold Coast right now. Let me grab the other cards. Let's see what they've got to say about it. Hopefully we just get one for each. Okay. Sydney. I'm going to say no. Seems like they're going to come in hard with an offer here, fast with an offer, but it's like, it's not good for him. It's not good for him. I mean, that doesn't mean he's not going to go there, but it does, you know, everything is in reverse. Okay. Gold Coast. I mean, he doesn't completely like the deal. Again, with these cards, they need him more than he needs them. He knows that he won't really have to fight for it, but he's questioning whether or not there's justice there. He's questioning whether or not he's going to like it. Okay. Potentially a woman with an ulterior motive about the Gold Coast. Okay, tell me about Geelong. I mean, that turned him into someone very greedy. Like, he won't feel alone, but there's a lot of things that he can't see about it. Okay. Is he staying at Carlton? We're having a renewal of everything. Wheel of Fortune. Wheel of Fortune would tell me that, yes, like he's going to roll the dice and start again, because there is like, there's too many kind of rules and strictness and a fear of not enjoying the Gold Coast. And then there is like, Sydney's not quite it, but they are going to come in hard and fast with a deal. And he's going to have to decide, like, you know, between those two things. And then Geelong, it's like, yes, you'll be happy there because you're from there, but there is boredom in that space. There's boredom. He needs more than what Geelong have got. All right, Wheel of Fortune in regards to Carlton. Please give me some clarity on what that means. They're going to offer him something. Whatever was broken, whatever this fucking energy has done that was getting frustrated with him not being back at his best, it's like they're going to offer him something here. What is the offer? It's going to be dishonest in a lot of ways. He's not going to like it. Is he going to say yes or no? Solitude. Strength. 11, 11. 11. 3 of these cards are 11s here. The partner has such a huge say in this. But it looks like Carlton are going to offer something. They're going to offer something to try and keep him. But he's not into it. He's going to speak his fucking mind about the cruelty, though, isn't he? How's that end? The Wands. Oh, fucking Pentacles. I mean, it's not going to be that hard for him to speak his mind because he's kind of gotten over what it was that they've fucking done here. Okay, well, I haven't asked one question, and that is, will we be surprised about Charlie's choice? It's going to be a difficult decision, but it's not a complete new beginning. What the fuck does that mean? Could it be a completely different team? I mean, there's a little bit of concern about what if I make the wrong choice. Not going to lie here. Again, another vibe here about like Geelong. Is Charlie Curnow leaving Carlton? This card translates to loss. So yeah, he is. His injuries are getting in the way of the deal being made. Same message I got the first reading I did for him. It feels like if we put them in order of what he wanted, Geelong, Gold Coast, Geelong, Sydney, Gold Coast, we put them in order of what the energy thinks is the right way to go, then it's more like Sydney, and then Geelong, Gold Coast kind of on the same range. But Carlton are going to try and shoot their shot with him, and I think he's going to shut them down. Yeah, they're going to try and sell him ego and money. Seduce hope of a new club future. But he going to say what he need to say, and he going to leave. All right, one more time. Give me the energy of the team that Charlie will be playing for in 2026, please. See, that's our new beginning. And that's Cancer energy, which is Geelong. Starting a new journey. Something that he's asked for. Because when he saw the deceit from friends, he wants to go towards happiness. Cancer energy. Which is Geelong. The Hierophant is also Taurus energy, though, which is Carlton. So it must only be between Geelong and Carlton. Anything else? Tell me again the energy of the club that Charlie will be playing for. Can't tell you why it looked like Geelong still. It's been a deal that's been in the works for longer than we all fucking know, though. Yep, hasn't spoken up about it. I mean, Charlie's leaving. It looked like Geelong. It looked like fucking Geelong. And Carlton are going to try and make a one last effort